Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. For those of you who have noticed I've been MIA, actually I don't think anyone has noticed, because what I did, I posted prior, I had uploaded quite a few things in advance, not knowing that my absence would be this long, but I knew that maybe I would be away for probably 2 weeks or so. That's what I had thought what I'd gone to do would take. Now, my mother has been sick. She was diagnosed with stomach cancer, and it has been the most horrendous experience ever. You don't want anybody to go through anything of that sort, or I think any cancer is just as bad. So I'm just giving you guys a bit of an update of what has been going on. We've been in the hospital in and out for about a month plus. Would take turns. I just got back yesterday from about 8 to 10 days with her in the hospital. It's a nightmare, guys. Let me just tell you, it's a nightmare. She's in her mid-80s. You don't want to see your parent going through anything of that nature. It's just horrendous. Oh my dear Lord. Okay, so what happened is that about early April, that's when she got diagnosed, because she had been seeing some blood in the stool, and it had been going on for some time. Different treatments were not doing anything, so we finally got her to an oncologist. No, an oncologist is the one we are supposed to go and see about the chemo. So these doctors who do this colon thing, so when they ran the tests, they found that she had this mass right next to, in her passageway, just right next to where the entrance to the stool, where stool comes out from. So it's at the ending of the intestines, yeah. So that's where the mass was found, and then next to it there was something like a hole. The results that came back were so horrifying. In fact, we didn't even know what to do. We were so confused. So anyway, bottom line is that she needed surgery, and she did the surgery, the first surgery, pretty much uneventfully, and she went home with a bag. I'll insert a picture somewhere here. She went home with that bag, and for the next 2 to 3 months it was this getting used to it. It was very strenuous. It was a new experience, very difficult on everyone, but at some point now she got used to it. She was able to empty it herself, would change the bag every week or so, and she began to get used to that kind of life. And then she went and did the scans, and they said okay, she can have the process to reverse it. She was really looking forward to that process. Now I can't tell whether we rushed it, because I believe it was done the way they usually do it, but don't forget this is an elderly person, or it was just some bad luck, because these things happen. She went in about 2 weeks back for the surgery to reverse the whole process. The surgery went well that day. The next day she was looking great, everything looked fine. The third day, it was a Wednesday, on Friday all hell broke loose. Some place here started leaking where they returned the bag. It's some wound, and it's stitched, and they stitch it, and the stitches are kind of like staples and stuff. So in between there somewhere there was a little gap, which I don't even think the gap was a problem. Remember, she had been pierced down, she had been cut downwards like this, down, and for the bag to be inserted and all of that stuff. But the surgery to return it was meant to be a simple thing. Then the surgeon told us this is a 1.5 to 1.5 hour thing. He said it was a very simple thing, 2 days recovery, because you're reversing something, it's the major one was putting it. So we went in knowing, maximum 3 days we're home. The third day, when now we were thinking things would be going well and we would be thinking of starting, preparations to discharge, that is when some liquid just splashed out and it had the foulest smell. I don't know how to describe the kind of smell. You could smell it was something rotten. It smelled rotten, but I don't know what to liken that smell with, but it was terrible. It was filling the room and the ward. As you would walk towards her room, you could smell it. So they would try to dress it, and then they realized some bad infection had got her. Just a second. So what now happened after that is they put her on a dose of very strong antibiotics because apparently she had gotten what they call sepsis. Is it sepsis, where your blood is getting poisoned by an infection. The blood now is getting infected, all of that stuff. So they put her on extremely seriously strong antibiotics to try and clear it. But the moment the drip would go in, as the medicine hit her system, she would throw up. Serious throwing up that now was even, oh my God, what am I going to tell you guys? How can I explain it? Just know it was bad. It was very serious. So that happened on Friday. She stayed Saturday. On Sunday, they did a scan. She was still on antibiotics and they were trying to assess, is this thing working or not? So she did the scan. When the doctor came and saw that scan, we were not even given time to consent. He was telling us later, he guaranteed the surgery because we just saw a form was brought, give consent. I signed because I'm the one who was with her in the hospital at that time. I signed and rushing up and down, everything. Wheelchair came. Before I knew what was happening, she was back in surgery. This is maybe 5 days after the first surgery. Remember, we're talking about an 80-something-year-old. She was already so weak and frail from trying to recover from that first one that it was just insane. And you know what the surgery was for? Going to wash, clean out the wound, and return the bag. I mean, I was so disappointed on her behalf because she was so looking forward to being rid of this bag and having life go back to normal. But unfortunately, that is what happened. So from the second surgery, this is today I think is day either 16 or 17. The horror, you guys, the emotional trauma. You left home going for an admission of 2 to 3 days max. It has turned into 2 weeks. We're now on the third, and even the process, the things, you can be on, you can have a long stay in the hospital because of maybe just the process of healing is taking long and she needs to be observed and everything. This one, every day there would be a new thing. Every day there's something different happening, something else has gone wrong, this and this, the body has refused to respond, and oh. And then let's not even talk about the bill. The bill, okay, the whole thing has just been a horror. But I came home yesterday. I came home last night. I left my sister there for the next like 2-3 days. We are working on how she can be discharged. Now, since the bag was put, it's been a couple of days. With a lot of help, she can walk. Before, she was so weak. She's still very weak. Walking is really a problem. And we're talking about walking with support, and it's just a few yards. But it's still progress because she's not throwing up now, and her appetite is slowly coming back. But my goodness, guys, my goodness, that is a horror. It's something you don't want anybody to have to go through. Anytime a parent is sick, it's hard, yes, but they are watching them trying to retain food. They can't eat, they can't move. And make a certain state of questions like, oh my god, what happened to my body? I can't eat because it's going to be fine. And they're like, what? What is happening? And then we needed to get a lot of enough. At some point, they're saying the time before the exam were bad, the things were feeling so stupid. It was really not confirmed. So they took us mama and open my eyes. If the test could understand what you're saying, that it was the oxygen to keep her eyes open and too much. Anyway, at least it looks like you can come home and be okay, continue and medication and all of that stuff at home. And just going in for the physical stuff. If necessary, maybe international care can be done at home. But the whole thing was just going on major nightmare. Just thank God at least when it started, it could have been much really a place of things getting worse. But we pray that we'll be able to get our attention. But appetite can come eventually as long as we keep doing them, healing becomes faster. So that is why when I it has not been possible to even think of doing any kind of thing. I would try when she stabilizes, I would think, oh, let me get a bit of footage. Maybe at some point I'll put together something. But those bits of footage will probably come much later. And yeah, I thought it's quite an important thing to share. Just the process in case anybody has a patient who is about to go for such a thing, you can know what to expect. It's no joke. It's just no joke. So that is it for now. We are safe now and back home, even though the journey still continues, but when you're seeing it, even for her, I believe being in the home environment will be way better for her. And we expect to see, a lot of faster progress with this. So I keep you guys posted. That is it for now. At least you know where I was, what is happening. If you don't see too much of me, you will know why. But yes, we are hoping, and thanks for watching.